But something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shoot him? That's a Guns N' Roses reference. Well, I don't actually know if it is, it just could be. I wouldn't have put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin. Ah! So, when he was shot with a pistol, the syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. Small syringe. I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting. Yes, sir. Alright. The circumstances. Actually, the victim kind of ordered the defendant to do him in. Wait a minute. Every single piece of music we have heard thus far has been from the first game. The testimony, I'm curious if Pursuit is gonna be the classic version. That'd be awesome if it was. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter, ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him, and shot the old man in the forehead. The bullet was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Right. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? Those are the facts. I have here the letter in question. To my beloved student, Zach, to you I entrust the task of lowering my life's curtain. Whoa. Okay. Oh, I want to read that. Oh, pardon me. Very unusual indeed. Yeah, but I want to read it. Come on the 13th, 11:05 PM, I will ready a gun with which you will shoot. One shot square in the forehead. You cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Magnify Grammary. What else do we have? Used for administering insulin shots. Has been washed and shows no signs of use. Okay, so diagnosed with malignant tumour. Right. Cool. Very unusual indeed. Although, could such a thing as a letter really cause one to pull a trigger, I wonder? I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. Ah, you cannot refuse, and we both know the reason why. Detective Gumshoe, can you explain this to the court? Unfortunately, even the defendant won't say a peep about that bit, sir. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night for a half hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnify Grammary, was given an IV. An IV? But it's not connected to him, is it? Oh, pardon me. There it is in the picture, off to the side of the bed. At 11, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back for the empty bag. This happened every night, without fail. So that was the only time they could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption. During his IV. Ah, okay. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me. Yeah, it would have been helpful. The circumstances. Oh my god, it is. It's all classic. Hold it! Just because he got the letter doesn't mean he went through with it. Oh, I disagree. The victim was indeed shot in the forehead after all, just as he had commanded. It could be a setup. But let's not be in such a hurry. Maybe we should let the witness talk for a change. Thanks, pal. Aw, we're being nice to Gummy. Fine, I can play it slow as well. Wait, I can play it slow as well as I can play it fast. On with the testimony, Detective Gumshoe. So, a few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter. Okay. And this letter was sent by the victim? There it is. Gotcha. You're all mine this time, pal. Huh? I had the handwriting checked out, of course. It's the victim's, no mistake. Ah, I see. Score one for the boys. I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But allow ordering your own death. Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. I'm not sure this is exactly commonplace, even now, Your Honor. So anyway, guess I'll keep going while I'm ahead. I absolutely love that. Gotcha! Score one for the boys. Did what he was asked of him, shot the old man in the forehead. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You failed to grasp the concept of questioning, Detective. First, we got this letter. It says, shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You failed to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, Detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. That's a fancy-looking pistol. Traces of gunpowder residue shows that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright? As far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. I see an issue. There be a bullet hole in his forehead, but if you look over to the left at the clown, there's also a bullet. From the looks of things, anyway. It could just be a third eye. But it looks like a bullet. A bullet hole. Is there a problem? The photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use. There is. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. I think there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly Mr. Enigma shot something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse. His teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh? The defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make. What, and you can prove that with this photo? I can prove he had a choice, yes. The defendant might have fired, like he was ordered, but he didn't shoot the victim's forehead. Well, let's hear what you're thinking, Mr. Wright. If he didn't shoot the victim's forehead, what did the defendant shoot? This. There we go. Square on it. Very nice. God, it's weird hearing all the old sound bites. The clown doll? Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too. Ah, there's a hole in its forehead. Wait a minute. What's this actually say? It doesn't actually say what to shoot. It just says I will ready a gun with which you will shoot one shot square in the forehead. I mean, he did. He shot something square in the forehead. Doesn't say shoot me. One shot. Square in the forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim. Ha! And I suppose you have a reason as to why he'd shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. Well, there we go. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead it definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. Bloody hell. I admit I'm impressed, but I expected nothing less. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot the victim. Perhaps he didn't... Oh, he did have to shoot a forehead as ordered. But the letter says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he had to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. It might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. You cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see the novice's overconfidence. He doesn't realise just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue your testimony. Now have time to gather all the details coming in here. Right, okay, we're going back through. Alright, so I did that. A few days, ordered his murder, the defendant did what was asked of him. Was found at the scene of the crime. No doubt about it. You mean this pistol, the one in the crime scene photo? That's the one. It's a funny looking gun, so there's no mistaking it. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling marks on the bullets were a perfect match. So, you verified the murder weapon, in other words? You bet we did. Right, okay. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. Alright. Why are you so certain? What pile of sand has your head been stuck in all this time, pal? You never heard of Zack and Valent's quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zack and Valent stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot. But the bullets don't hit her. Instead, they hit everything else on stage. This was one of the pistols they used in their show. Got a great design, huh? The kids love it. Many boys and girls joined the police because of that pistol, I hear. You know, that would explain a lot about the police force. Troop Ramirez stopped doing that act a while ago. The old man held onto that pistol ever since. The court would like to see the pistol in question. You got it, sir. Here she is. Well, this truly is a blast from the past. It's a stage pistol for magic shows, see? But it can fire real bullets. It looks so much bigger in real life than on TV. Yeah, but it can only hold one round. Aha, we gotcha. By the way, the pistol's firing chamber is empty. And it shows traces of having been fired recently. Well, we now know where to go next. So, any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. We might say that a lack of fingerprints is, in fact, a fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point, well made. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not well made, not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. Stage pistol. My grandchild would get a kick out of seeing this. But now it's time to return to our testimony. There we go. Now we can get him. So what if he shot the clown? He still shot the victim, pal. How could he do that if he only had one bullet? Fires one real bullet, rifling marks match bullet found in victim. There we go. How could he do that? The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed the bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal. After he shot the clown in the forehead, he went and... did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honor. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. Ah. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too. I'm the winner! But that's not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first shot. He wouldn't have had rounds on him. Oh, where did he get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know? If you claim the defendant had one ready, then prove to us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this part is just getting started. And I haven't proven anything yet, beyond my good looks and startling record sales. An utter lack of humility. Ah, what's this? It seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, Herr Detective, our Herr Detective was just the warm-up act. Ugh. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? For my decisive witness, of course. A witness who, you will find, can prove one thing for us. That it was Zach Rameri who shot the victim in the forehead. Okay. Very well. We will pause for a 15-minute recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk to my client, Zach. Court is adjourned. Not too bad. That was quite short as well. That took 27 minutes. My goodness. Right, so... No. I don't save until the end of a session now. Less chance of a fuck-up then. Very impressive, Mr. Wright. I have to say, I expected nothing less. We've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. I did not think you would believe me if I told you. Better that you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know? I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You'll scare Trucy. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself. The letter. The one shot in the forehead. Oh, the one shot in the forehead. One, right? Yes, and the reason he speaks of. I could not deny my mentor's wishes, even if it meant my own death. Why not? This is something I will not say, for now at least. What's this for now business? I've done many things in my life. Some well, some poorly. But this is a cross we must bear alone to our graves. We? You wanted to know about the night of the incident? Finally, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course, I had no intention of shooting my mentor. I snuck into his room that night at the appointed time. And found there upon his bedside table 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I had used on stage, oops, and the one that had been used by my partner, Valent. Oh, for the Zach and Valent's quick draw thing. My mentor had the look of one sleeping. I stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol into my hand. I cannot deny that my resolve faltered then, for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Recall there was a reason I could not refuse his request. His last such request, though not his first. So, there were other requests you couldn't refuse before. To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I've brought pain upon Trucy. Was Magnify coercing his disciple somehow? Just what was going on in Troop Rameri? Yet, in the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown. I took the pistol I had fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket? I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you will find it to be different than the one in my mentor. What were those called? Rifling marks. There we go. Yes, well, that is all I have to tell you, concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean, there's something else you can tell me? Huh. You are a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks. Yes, there is something. My mentor, his eyes opened. What? Magnify Grammary? The old devil. He was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. Oh. And there we had our last discussion as mentor and pupil. It was not a long discussion. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Mr. Wright, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zach Rameri, he seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I am in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. Alright. Oh, pardon me. So, who's this decisive witness? Court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out from the clown's head. Well, this is news, and the rifling marks. There wasn't time to do a detailed analysis. Though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is why I'm about to call my very decisive witness. Your decisive witness? How many times have I heard those words? Though they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. No, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production. Oh, being the other half of Troupe Grammari's famous duo, Zack and Valant. Valant Grammari. So we get to meet the great Magnify's other disciple. Why the hell's he testifying? Oh man, he looks the same. Just without a tash. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation. Where the hell did I get making from? Valant Grammari. Magician. And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt? Fate, the grand illusion, filled with traps and tricks. But wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. If you're a witness, does that mean you were there that late? So if one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received this. That looks very familiar. But wait. That's the same letter Zack Grammari received. Yes, or perhaps I should say, ta-da! God, it sounds weird in the courtroom. Order, order, order! What does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Oh. Why, it's practically the same. The court accepts this into evidence. What on earth? This is most unusual. Exactly what was going on with you folks? What exactly was your Troupe Grammari up to? By which you mean... I'm just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them, no less. It's just my opinion, Herr Judge. But from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. When people are so close, there is strain, a warping of relations, you might say. Yet this has nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zach Rameri, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. For where he walks, the red roses rise singing hymns to the miracle that is magic. Fascinating. Though I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene. In fact, the only difference seems to be the designated time. As every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes. And now it's time to get this party fired up. Right, so the night of the crime. That night I visited the hospital room at the time Magnify requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. What? Oh. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. Then I informed the doctor and the police. So he's saying that he shot the clown. Okay. So you were the one who reported the crime. Indeed. I would think. This fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yeah, so cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant, Zach Rameri, is guilty. And if it wasn't Zach Rameri, then the killer was you, Valent. No disappearing act will get you out of that. Alright. So, the night of the crime. So there, it's just time to press everything again. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 PM. Indeed. In magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusion of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double has left, how would that look? Why, it would reveal the very secrets of my magic. Now that you've revealed the very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You entered the designated time, and what did you see? So the smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and Memento had taken his final bow. So you weren't worried for your own safety at all? I mean, you smelled gunpowder. Yes, what if the shooter was still nearby? Ooh. I did not consider this, to be honest. It is forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions and imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. No, you were the one imagining. It is forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. Did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. But why not? Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, and my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnify wrote the same thing to you, so what's to say that you didn't refuse? Why could you refuse if Zach couldn't? Because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick where I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't all that strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? Sure, go for it. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to the clown. As he keeps saying.